Greetings, Marvel fans. Welcome back to the Gamers Den. Show for you, the viewer. Come to me, the host, for all the video game walkthroughs and playthroughs. Stay for the pop culture knowledge of him. Now, I've made no bones about being a Marvel fan and a fan of the MCU. But while I love Iron Man and I love the Hulk, the Star Spangled Man with a Plan. There's a character there's an actor that I've actually seen in another Marvel property. But I'll get to that in a second. So Captain America, the first Avenger, came out again in 2011, along with Thor. Um, and introduced another element that would be tying in all together and everything. And I'll get to that when we get to 2012's Avengers movie. Um, Now, Captain America introduces specific characters that would become staples of the MCU going forward. Of course, Captain America himself, Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, who, funnily enough, also played the Human Torch in the first two, well, technically the second and third Fantastic Four films. Considered there was a one before this one, made during the 80s, that never was supposed to be released. Some copies managed to get floated online. You can find it on YouTube. But technically the first official two films had him play Human Torch, and he's completely different as Cap. Um, and I will admit, I like his Cap a little bit better than his Human Torch, but I don't mind his Human Torch as much as I mind the one 2015 one. That was bad. The only one I liked in that one was the Thing. I mean, Invisible Woman, so bland that I thought I forgot she was here. So I guess she did good. But we're not talking about that film. We're not talking about that train wreck. Even I can't defend that film. Um, but Captain America, the first Avenger, also introduced us to the Howling Commandos, which I think Nick Fury's Howling Commandos could pop up with the inclusion of Blade. Now, the difference is the original Howling Commandos helped Captain America during World War II. And Nick Fury's Howling Commandos are a bunch of monsters that fight off Blade and other characters. Or fight off Dracula and other characters. Sorry. Blade's actually one of the many characters that they swap out. Swamp Thing's always part of it, though. Or, was it Man Thing? I think it was Man Thing for Marvel, Swamp Thing for DC. Um, but it also introduces us to the Red Skull and Arnim Zola. Funnily enough, Arnim Zola in the comics is very different. He actually becomes something very different in the comics, and I'll get to that a little bit more when I actually talk about him. Um, and of course, Hydra as a whole is introduced on top of the Tesseract, a blue cube. Um, and of course, Bucky Buchanan Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. Now, Bucky is seemingly killed in this movie, but like in the comics, it's revealed later on, you know. And again, I'll get to that later. But Cap starts off as a scrawny little boy, and then gets injected with super soldier serum. Fortunately, he's the only one that's able to do so. So he starts touring the world, selling war bonds. For eventually just deciding, you know what, enough's enough. I'm done selling war bonds. Screw y'all. I'm going to save my buddy. I'm going to save a bunch of other people from this camp. And starts taking down Hydra base by base, for eventually losing Bucky, or at the very least Stinky, for a final confrontation with Red Skull, and he gets frozen in the ice. Red Skull is yeeted away by the cube, and the Captain America plummets into the ocean, freezing him solid. And the only thing keeping him alive is the super soldier serum. Tesseract is also dug up, and both land in the arms of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I know I'm glossing over one character, and I'll get to her in a minute. But eventually, Cap wakes up 75 years later. Long nap. Um, to a recreation of what he would have seen back then, along with Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow's here. He runs outside and finds out he's a man at a time now. He's not in the world he once knew. And Nick Fury basically helps him. Post-credit scene showcases him training, which we would see again in Avengers. 2012's The Avengers movie. And there's one character I didn't touch on, Peggy Carter. Well, that's because she's got her own show, and I wanted to give that one a bit of a watch and give you my thoughts on that one at a certain point. And I will give my thoughts on the other shows as well, but I really wanted to talk about Captain America today. And I think Peggy Carter, she's one of the best female characters, along with Black Widow. And while, yes, I've talked about some of the newer stuff and everything else, I want to take these older stuff in order. And I will go through the mini movies at a later date as well. But Captain America, the first Avenger, see, Iron Man and the Hulk laid the groundwork for what the MCU would be. Iron Man 2 basically built on it further with Easter eggs and references to other stuff throughout. Thor, along with Iron Man 2, brought in the characters that didn't really have a movie, Hawkeye and Black Widow, but again expanded the lore a bit. Captain America, however, brought in one more element, the Tesseract. That's what this whole thing's been about, was the Tesseract, which, again, I'll get into once I get into the Avengers movie. Now, Captain America, the first Avenger, is one of the better ones of the better trilogies, if I'm being honest, of the MCU. It's one of the best ones. The first one sets Cap up on his journey. Second one reunites him with his best friend, and the third one shows him putting a stand and taking a stand to the tyranny that's been going on in this new world. But I will admit, the best part of Captain America, the first Avenger, is of course, again, the villains. See, the first one had Iron Man had Ironmonger. Hulk had Abomination. Iron Man 2 had Whiplash. Thor had Loki, which we'll see more of him as well as LaFay. Captain America, the first Avenger, showcases the first villain that actually is more well known. See, while not many people will know Abomination is good nowadays, the Red Skull, on the other hand, is a character that you can definitely remember because of who he's a Nazi, for one thing, on top of having a bright red skull. Jesus. I mean, that's like, I don't know what to even say to that. That's like, that's messed up. Um, and of course, like the other ones, these characters have various lines of merchandise, but this movie was where it really started setting everything up for the Avengers stuff that would be popping up. Now, while there was tons of first Avengers stuff, it was mostly focusing on Cap, and everything. And this one does pull from a lot of the World War II stuff. Hell, you can even some of the outfits pop up in other media. In the Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, the pilot outfit that he wears in one of the other Captain America movies. I don't know if he wears it in this one, but he would eventually don that again in the Lego episode, in a Lego level in the second Marvel Superheroes game. The classic shield, where it's like an actual like night shield, that is used as a prop. It looks goofy. They make fun of it, but that's what the original shield was. The wings, the very light blue, but then they gave it a modern touch up for the first Captain America movie. It's a little more densely packed. It actually looks like military garb from that era. Just beefed up a little bit, of course. And of course, that red, white, and blue emblazoned on it, and the shield made from vibranium. This is the first time we actually hear vibranium fully mentioned. They might have mentioned it sometimes during the Iron Man movies, but this kind of almost along with Iron Man 2, kind of laid the seeds for Black Panther, funnily enough. And funnily enough, Black Panther was actually introduced with Captain America at some point in an Avengers. Or no, he had first appeared in Fantastic Four. But Cap and T'Challa, they're good buddies. They're good buddies. Um, and of course, Cap is shown his leadership skills, which he co-leads the Avengers with Iron Man. But that bites him in the ass real quick. Um, but this also establishes other characters as well, and kind of establishes relationships going forward. Cap is a man at a time, so we'll see how that goes in the Avengers movie. So we've we've seen the Man of Iron, the invincible Iron Man. We've seen the Green Rage, Jolly Green Giant of the Hulk. We've gotten the kick-ass woman of the team, Black Widow. We've gotten the 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 the, the Purple Archer in Hawkeye, the God of Thunder, Son of Odin, Thor. And now we've got Star Spangled Man from Man at a Time, Captain America, along with the trickster god Loki, Shield agents galore, including Nick Fury, and of course the center of it all, the Tesseract. Next, next, next time we talk about Marvel. But with that being said, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and of course go down to the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. Did you watch Captain America? Did you like it? Personally, 5 stars out of 5, 10 out of 10. This is a kick-ass movie for any you action movie fans and wartime action movie fans. If you like Saving Private Ryan, you'll like this film. I think y'all will. I don't know. Y'all might not. If you like military cinematic masterpieces, then you'll like this one. However, that being said, hope to see you guys next time. Bye.